concept is it's a piece that's somewhat about like two different sides of yourself, maybe, or two different experiences of yourself. It began with a discussion about gender dysphoria, because both Aiden and I are transmasculine, and so it could be about that, but it's also potentially just about finding kind of an inner version of yourself, or maybe like a version of yourself that was before some major thing happened, or kind of bringing sides of yourself together.
I love writing poetry for choral works because I love to find this place or a way of kind of conveying an idea that's so specific that you feel it intensely, but is broad enough that people can reflect their own experience onto it and therefore experience the piece and the poetry through their own lived experience. And so I never want to come in and be like, this is the poem, this is what it means, but I can be like, I wrote it from my experience as someone trying to just put who I felt I was and who I was together. And like as a trans person, that kind of happens a lot where you get to this point in your life where you're like, I have to start making changes because the person that everyone else sees or the person that I'm conveying myself to be is so different from the person on the inside. And like those two things coming together is just causing me so much anguish that I need to do something about it. And to me, that's what I was writing this poem from, that idea that, maybe body and soul are disconnected, or the masculine and the feminine are disconnected, or just this idea that you're going on a journey that kind of where you're headed and you definitely know where you've come from, but the whole space between is just a huge question mark. And so that for me was what this poem was about.
But I love the poem, and I also can relate to it. Not so I think you were very successful, Aiden, because I I kind of guessed at, since LJ was setting it, and I didn't know you, but that maybe that was the one way to interpret the piece, was sort of in a gender context. But the beautiful imagery of the waterfall, and water being one thing at the top of the waterfall and another thing at the bottom, and what happens in between, doesn't require that narrow, if I may, I don't know, that narrow a definition of the poem. I love what you did.
The name of the project, Soprasymmetry, is a play on the term supersymmetry, which is a theory that has some decent evidence behind it, that all of the elementary particles that make up matter and everything have what's known as a supersymmetric partner with an opposite spin, and they're the opposite type of particle. So if it's a fermion, then its supersymmetric partner is a boson, and vice versa.